All right, everybody, good afternoon and welcome on back. Continuing along, of course, our Thursday afternoon here in the Cyber Group Trading Room, and of course, streaming across social media, Facebook and YouTube alike, here with our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin, make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. And again, this is Thursday, May 14th, just for the recording. Great to see everybody, though. Chuck, just in advance, is loud and clear. Ron, Jason, Leda, Mark, Grant, Mark S., the Marks in tandem as always. Jose, who's been killing it today on a few different stocks that we've been watching. Bonnie, Gene, Dennis as well. Great to see you all. And again, for all of us streaming across social media, welcome on back, guys. So, hey, hell of a comeback today within the markets. We ended up seeing the Dow down as low as 460 points from Thursday's close, or from Thursday's low, I should say. We ended up seeing a major rebound. So, of course, the Dow is near the highs going into this Thursday close. We'll look to see if it could break through that big resistance at 23,500. You would figure, the 500 level increments are going to be pretty tough. We were talking about 24,000 back the other day. And here we are now, broke above 23,000 earlier this morning. Now we're at 23.5. So, just keep a good eye on that top heading into the afternoon, much like we saw, I think it was Monday, right? Monday afternoon or Tuesday, perhaps. We ended up seeing the Dow break lower, and it presented a good opportunity for us to follow the market. So we hope to see the same, of course, more so for all of us here collectively, just to see the markets pushing up. So, for right now, guys, what we'll do is just go through a couple of stocks that we followed, at least from earlier, alongside just the side list stocks. And when I say the side list stocks, you guys should know that at this point, the cruise lines, the airlines, the gaming stocks, so to say, they ended up moving up with the market greatly this morning. NCLH killed it. But let's go through a couple of the others, though. The Corona stocks did just as well. And we'll go through, actually, well, I have to say, one that did really well for us yesterday, breaking all-time highs. But news came out today, this afternoon more so, a couple of pieces. CODX. Damn, this thing had some range to it up and down across the day. So, we ended up seeing CODX move up higher from yesterday's close back on Wednesday. And, hey, with that in mind, going into the open, you'd like to think maybe a pullback, but with this breaking all-time highs, that this can very well continue to squeeze up. Well, it took a while. It ended up holding support off 26, as you could see. It was moving up, but never ended up really breaking a higher high. It broke above 28, but failed to kind of, squeeze up above 30. Eventually came back down, and then as it was kind of meddling around support, bam, we ended up seeing news come out on CODX, guys. I want to pull it up just for everyone here. There was a tweet or just some announcement. Hindenburg Research says that we are short on CODX due to its CFO's checkered history involvement with companies halted by the SEC, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just one piece of information. I mean, just a firm that is officially short. What was the news on this CODX trade? We did post this just in the trading room earlier. You know what I'll do? I'll skip ahead. We'll go right to Benzinga Pro. So Hindenburg Research announced it was short on CODX. Okay, that's right. So there's another article saying Nebraska lawmakers want to terminate $27 million contract with test Utah companies. So that was the first piece of information that was out there. I'm going to post that just right now across the trading room, and then again just across social media. But yeah, I mean, we ended up seeing CODX get crushed this afternoon, guys. We weren't really able to short this stock as much. So, disaster does create good opportunity. We ended up seeing this make a phenomenal squeeze back up off of 20, off of 19, really. I was so upset. I missed the entry on the dead cat bounce. I was looking at 19. I was a little late to the draw. I was posting a Tom Petty music link in the trading room, actually, just trying to be funny. Free falling. We ended up seeing CODX get crushed, and I was playing silly, and I ended up missing the whole squeeze up. How about that? So, CODX ended up making a nice run up, at least so far, and at least for right now, just given the simple range and volatility, we'll just put this back on our list. I mean, right? Not to say it's easy to trade, but it's easy to at least just add to our list for right now. All right, we filled up on water here, at least before this meeting, doing better than yesterday. So let's go through a couple of other trades, guys, that we ended up catching, at least from earlier on this morning. One on the loser side. I mean, it opened up bad, and it's still near the lows of the day right now. This CTMX. Now, I am going to play ignorant here. I don't know what the news is on this stock, guys. You guys know the deal also at this point. We don't tend to focus as heavily on the news. I mean, you'd figure bad news, stock's going to drop. Good news, stock's going to move up. But moves could be factored in. And aside from that, you could have you also would like to think about the long-term play as well, just across the rest of the week or maybe going forward for a few weeks in time, seeing market makers accumulate underneath a big price level like that before it ends up making a big squeeze back up. Give me a brief moment here, guys. Just, there we go. My screen just like flashed on me. It was a weird reset. So I was saying I was ignorant to the news this morning. Nonetheless, the CTMX trade after a big gap down only continued to drop off after 9:30. So ended up dropping off from 11 down to 9. Right now, it's right off the lows still at this point in the afternoon. So another stock that's just easy to put on our list, CTMX, down over 37% already. Right now it's been a little shaky around 9, broke below it, but moved right back above it. So look to see if it can make that second big breakdown below that level, guys, heading into the afternoon. This is CTMX. All right, and then what was another cheapie? I mean, we don't really tend to focus on these like super cheapies, but what was it, Intelsat? I think they were halted earlier, Ben, right? We ended up seeing get crushed early on this morning. They ended up getting halted going into the afternoon, 1 o'clock, and then over here, 1:06, it reopened up. It ended up reopening up off a huge gap down, but from there, I mean, we don't really tend to see this too frequently where it makes such a steady squeeze up right off the bat. For a stock, again, down as much as I was, maybe you'd figure at some point the shorts cover and it squeezes, but this was an immediate dead cat bounce from 35 all the way up towards just about 70. For right now, this I trade, it's still down so much, even after just, today's move, the day before that, just breaking all-time lows. You would like to think there could be a higher squeeze, a bigger squeeze rather, on this trade going into the next few days, maybe the next week perhaps. So it's a good stock to keep on the side list, just given today's run up so far. But for right now, I'm not going to put this on our main list just yet. All right, so we did pretty well so far, guys. Not really just on one particular sector or stock, but kind of just across the board, across the percent gainers and losers list. I do want to touch upon just the side list stocks. Like I had said, though, NCLH was a monster today. We ended up seeing them run up perfectly with the market shortly after the open. Dropped off at first, and then from that point ended up holding a support at double bottom, essentially off of $9.30. You guys might see that yellow line there on my chart. You should at least. 10:07, it's right there. So from yesterday we ended up seeing some huge transactions on time and sales specific to 10:07. So going into the market open, you could see it was just holding underneath that price level very well, just all throughout from 8 o'clock pre-market. It dipped lower, but when it rebounded, it essentially held 10:07 and came storming back down as soon as the market opened up. That was the resistance I was looking at 9:30. So once it failed to break above that, it came right back down with everything else and presented a really good short here, at least upon the market open. Ended up running up, though, of course, after. So ended up holding that double bottom at 9:30 and ran perfectly up with everything else heading into the late morning, early afternoon. I feel like just given the overall range from down to up, then back down here, towards 10:30, it has a great range to work with. I mean, very similar to CODX. But you know what? For right now, this stock, it seems like it's kind of exhausted itself out. Maybe I'll come back to this just once we go through the percent gainers and losers list. But for right now, we'll pass on this. All right, we'll check in with some of the others, though. I mean, the other like cruise lines, airlines, etc. RCL is usually the more volatile of the cruise lines. It has been of late. A little bit pricier with that in mind too, but seems pretty flat. UAL is pretty good to us yesterday, ended up dropping off going into the close. It was a great short. And again, much like NCLH, it seemed like a really great day trade, at least since the market opened up. Down, then up, then down. And, for now, pretty flat. So I guess we'll kind of skip over these for the meantime. We'll check in with MGM and Penn, but I feel like if those aren't moving, unless if news is out on some of these others, then just kind of slow, trading in a tighter range right now. All right, that's fine. I mean, hey, that's expected to a great degree. I just figured maybe a few stocks would be moving sharper or a little bit more sharper with the market heading into the afternoon. The Dow squeezed up pretty nicely, and then from that point, it's fallen back down a bit. So just keep a good eye on the Dow, guys, heading into the close to make a higher low and to see it squeeze back up. For right now, though, what we'll do is go from top to bottom. This stock, what, 384%? I actually saw this up over 400% earlier. FMCIW, try saying that 3 times fast. Jeez. We ended up seeing the stock, I guess, make a big move from $1 to $1.25. I mean, that's all I got. We didn't really focus on this one too much. I don't know what the news is. Kind of a wacky daily chart as well. Wacky looking daily chart. Let's just go through our TradeStation news here. I want to see. Otherwise, I guess I'll go through Benzinga Pro. But nothing. All right. We'll go to Benzinga really quickly. What time is it right now? 2:41. We got time here. All right. FMCIW. Try saying that 3 times fast. I got nothing. No news on Benzinga Pro, at least even for this one. Oddly enough, I'd share it with you guys if I had it, but. All right, well, you know what? I mean, for right now, it's near the highs of the day going into the close. It actually isn't trading bad volume at this point in the afternoon. I'm not even talking about the volume total, just more so kind of the average volume per minute. You know, the stock does have pretty tight spread, pretty good liquidity on the order book. I don't mind putting it on for right now. I don't know what the news is. And again, I say at times I am ignorant to the news, right? So, you know, in this case, I don't know what the news is, so we really will play ignorant and say, you know what, if it ends up breaking above the next major volume-based resistance, then I'm led to believe it's just going to keep going higher. That could be off of 129, 130. I don't have my book map up for the stock yet, but 120, it seemed like there was a lot of volume filled across the afternoon so far. Looks like maybe off of 125, it kind of peaked its head above, then came back down perhaps. So maybe keep an eye on 125, keep an eye maybe 130 above that, but yeah, I guess I'll add this to our list. All right, let's see what else we got here, guys, from top to bottom. APDN, crazy one from earlier today, also ended up my pre-market settings. So always with the Dow Jones. All right, so APDN, we ended up seeing tail off after the market opened up. It took its sweet time to make this breakout, but it paid off. Ended up moving up from 13-ish, I'd say, up towards just about that top around 1650, and it's pulled back since. Man, this thing has such a range too. It's hard to just not put this on our list. Just got to be careful though. It's already coming back down towards 14. So after the big run up, it has pulled back, already tested 14 once, and seems to be pulling back down there again. I feel like if it ends up retesting, it's just going to blow right through the level. So APDN, I guess we'll kind of tag along that FMCIW crazy stock. Just on the back end of our list, just given the recent move so far. All right, IZEA, I saw a couple of posts on this in our trading room. Ended up squeezing up nicely, as you can clearly see. So, you know what? I like this stock just for the recent afternoon run, but we'll also take a look on the daily chart here. Also getting pinged on another stock, APT, a Corona stock that's making a huge move up, a new high. Looking at IZEA, we've traded the stock in the past. Not really too on, more off than on, I'd say. I don't think we really even traded it here over the last week or so. I remember us trading this stock, yeah, I mean, back a few years ago, a couple years ago, off of some crazy runs up here. You can see from 2 up to 5, and then from there much higher up towards 750. And, you know, recently going back into summer of 2018, a nice squeeze up here. So, you know, we've done well on the stock in the past. We've seen it make some runs up before. So I'll put this on. I mean, we'll look to see if it can just keep going up for a stock that's already up, you know, 43%. We've seen stocks make bigger runs percentage-wise, but again, just to see it go from 65 cents to 95, it's a hell of a move already. So you got to expect a pullback at some point. Maybe it's going to drop down to 80 or 75 before it ends up pushing back, you know, up again, perhaps. All right, so let's see what else we got here. HTGM, not doing too much there, kind of pulling back. Ooh, good timing on this NVUS, huh? I guess this is going to break a new high of the day here, coming up towards 125. You could at least see on the time and sales, as my platform's kind of slow to load right now, you know, some huge prints on the tape right off of 125. I don't know why my data is not loading right now, but you could at least see NVUS pushing up to the high of the day, breaking above 125 here, or at least testing it. So yeah, we'll add this right to our list. Good, this is a good call. Another crazy one, GNUS here from earlier today, popped shortly after the market opened up from 120 up towards 175, 180-ish, and It ended up making a new high earlier, and it kind of seems as if it's making a higher low from this dip. So perhaps with this trend off the lows, we'll see this break higher heading into the end of the day. Again, I don't know why my data is not loading up here. That's pretty weird, but nevertheless, GNUS, I mean, just has a lot of volume to cut through, and I know that before I started this meeting. Just looking at level 3, you have some big orders pretty much at every single cent level. So I'm not going to put this on just yet. Intuition tells me that it's not ready to make a new move back up, but I'll come back to this at the very end. Nice rounded bottom there off of 160. All right, I guess my TradeStation data is not loading right now. Guys, I don't know. Is that a problem with you guys here for all of us in the trading room? Anyone with TradeStation 9.5? No, my connection here is good. I'm actually running it through the office. All right, so this APT trade, at least as I go through for right now, APT, I got pinged. It made a new high just recently up towards 1650. And yeah, I mean, this thing's been running all day, so it's hard to not put this just right on our list near the top. All right, there we go. TradeStation's good, I guess. Little lag in the data. All right, CNAT. I mean, I know it's pushing up to make a new high right now, but I'm going to pass on it for the meantime. AIM, kind of same thing. Ended up making a nice little squeeze up early in pre-market. I was, pretty interested in this one. We've seen this stock also make some huge moves for us in the past. Actually, back in early March, from 3 up towards just about 7. So I was heavily interested in this. I was ready for a breakout. I actually did good on this trade, to be honest, but I wanted more. It pulled back, and I got out in time, but the thing never, of course, ended up moving back up. It just fell right back down. So I wanted a lot more out of the trade. I ended up taking the money and running, but unfortunately never presented as, legitimate of a buying opportunity since. I mean, it bounced off of 270, ran up towards 310. We're not trying to buy off the bottoms per se. So we were following other stocks going into the late morning once this ended up happening. Again, similar, it is making a higher low off support here. So, maybe if it's not today, perhaps it's tomorrow to close out the week, this AIM trade. So I'm still interested in this, but I'm not going to put this on our list just yet. All right, where are we now? RIOT. We have to talk about RIOT here, guys. RIOT ended up making a hell of a move up shortly after the market opened, breaking out above resistance at the time at 210. Held support, as you could see there as well, and had squeezed up nicely. So this was one of the bigger winners across the day, and it still might be a winner heading into the afternoon. The word might, though, shows some signs of uncertainty. So I'm not going to put this on our list just yet. I've said this before, guys, with RIOT. We've traded RIOT for a long time here in this trading room. More recently, or I should say more so, back 4 years ago, 3 years ago, once, the last Bitcoin rally happened. But RIOT was more so a pre-market trade. It's more so a market open trade. Watch, it'll prove me wrong here and run up higher going into the close. I have never really seen RIOT make a clean breakout, the big pop that we're all looking for here. I haven't really seen RIOT make that type of move in the afternoons. So I have hope, like a lot of us here so far, going into the close for RIOT. It still is holding support off of 220 and 225. But for right now, I'll scratch this from the list. It's a nice level 1 stock, so definitely keep this in mind across just this week, next week, going forward, really. All right, VBIV making a new high right now. So I guess I'm kind of running into a few of these that are kind of popping as we speak. Yeah, this VBIV trade we actually have traded recently across the last couple of days, the last week before that, actually just really back in the middle of April, more so the huge rally. It moved from 140 up towards just about 2. So again, a stock that we've traded before, a stock that we've done well on in the past. And for right now, I mean, hey, the stock has a penny spread, a lot of volume on the order book. So it's moving like a level 1 stock right now. And just to add on top of everything I just said, it's shortable. Now, I think we have a lot more opportunity on the way up as we do on the way down, unless this is a total head fake and this comes screaming back down to like 180. But just keep it in mind because, again, not only for today, but perhaps tomorrow, if it ends up making a big gap up and if we see it break down below big support, then it might end up filling a gap perhaps on the way down. I mean, we ended up seeing CBAY do that recently, CBAY, not to go off on any sort of tangent, but here we are right now. CBay, it's pulling back pretty nicely. It dropped off beautifully yesterday and tried to, fill in that gap on the daily chart. It wasn't going to fill it all the way, but, nice short. All right, so I'm going to put that VBIV trade on our list. All right, APT, again, we already went over. Again, some more pings on this one just from Benzinga and then also from the chat board, so it's doing pretty good still. I'm also getting a ping right now, guys, an alert, I should say, rather. Let's just check it out. Oof, absolutely. AMRN, guys. How about that? I just got the alert from Benzinga Pro. Knew it was coming. But I wanted to see if it was just like a dinky, like new high, like up just a little bit. I don't know what happened, but obviously news just came out. AMRN's a stock that we've been trading more on than off across, I mean, even the last year or so, year and a half. And the news, no surprise, guys. Well, it was relating towards successful data. It says AMRN shows significant reduction in coronary revascularization. That was a nice pronunciation by me there, including coronary stenting and cardiac bypass surgery in pre-specified and post-hoc analysis. Way above my pay grade. Sounds like good news, though. So we get a big result so far. Nice pop, and it already pulled back to 750 support, and it already moved up to 790. So this AMRN trade is going to top our list easily. It's a stock that we are, a lot of us in the trading room at least, are familiar with. Of course, a big run up, and again, if it is by any means a head fake and it comes down, it's shortable. So keep that in mind too. All right, cool. Back to the gainers list for right now, guys. Time is 2:52. I kind of taking my sweet time as we speak. So let's try and go through the rest of this pretty quick. ALT, not doing too much. Mara's blockchain stock. I want to look at that pretty quickly. My scanners are reloading on me here. Mara from earlier made a nice run. OPK, OPCO Health, Corona stock as well. Made a nice pop earlier. Don't want to missed that one, but for right now, we're not going to put that on the afternoon list. AYTU, keep this one in mind, guys, for tomorrow, I should say, this afternoon, post-market. We're going to see this post-earnings. So AYTU reporting earnings after the bell today, another stock that we traded back a couple months ago, did well on. It's at the highs, but just too much volume on this to cut through going into the close. So we'll watch this perhaps tomorrow. All right, let's check in on ACB. Aurora Cannabis ended up making a very nice trend on the way up today. I don't remember fully what the news is on this. My guess, and I think I'm right on this. What was it? Reverse split, guys? Tell me if I'm right or wrong on that. ACB reverse split. It has to be, because ACB was like a 60-cent stock or like a 30-cent stock or something of that nature a little while back, unless if I'm late to that news as well. ACB, and looking on Benzinga Pro at least right now, separate monitor, it says earnings scheduled for today. So I guess it was earnings. It has to be reverse split though, because this was like an 80-cent stock just, I mean, like a month ago or so, right? So maybe I'm late to the draw on that, but nice squeeze up though. And for right now, I mean, I'm going to put this right on our list here as well. So ACB, for as much as this stock has dropped, it's moved up nicely so far today, but I still feel like based on what we saw on the daily chart, and with the reverse split factored in, we'll call it, this thing still has some range left, I feel like. If not for today, then maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then just again for next week. So I'll put more focus on this trade at least beginning this afternoon and put this on our list. All right, so in typical Josh fashion, we already have a big list before hopping over to the losers. It's 254. Market's up big, so there's not as much that's down, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on our list already, guys. So let's see what else we got. I'm seeing in the chat board, and I appreciate Anthony with the heads up on this. I was a little late to the draw on the ACB reverse split, but Anthony did say last Monday it was a 12-for-1 reverse split. All right, so it's good to know. Typically, guys, reverse splits are not good news, right? The main reason why companies are doing that is to remain above NASDAQ listing requirements. So usually leads to a bit of a squeeze up at first, but then kind of drops back down. Oof, what the heck happened here? Onvo. Again, I'm not putting this on our list just yet. CRK, kind of flat. This VRTU, it's squeezed up nicely off of 22. It's at 24.13. So nice little trend off the lows, recovering a bit, but we're going to pass on that for right now. UNFI, how about this? I didn't focus on this as much from the afternoon. We watched this from the market open, dropped off steadily, as you could see, and still seems like there's some more room to go. So yeah, UNFI, we'll add this to our list. I think that makes it, what, like 12? All right, if there's anything else, guys, it's got to be looking just as good as this UNFI. This one is looking great. So this one, not only do we add to the list, I'm going to put this near the top. I find this to be one of the more interesting trades, at least so far this afternoon. So if there's anything looking just as good as this, let me know here in the chat board. I'm not going to go through anything else. Chuck says NRZ. I saw him do well on that trade earlier. Chuck C in the chat board here says NRZ shortable. It's moving up near the highs of the day. It is up over 5%. It's near the highs. It's dropped off greatly across the last couple of months. We followed this stock in the past. My last experience with this, Chuck, this stock was a big tease to me. I forgot the day. It was like a few weeks ago. I'm not going to let that stop me from putting this on the list, though. I mean, this is a pretty good setup so far, at least. Nice pattern, higher lows moving up towards that peak going into the afternoon. So, you know what? You got me. I guess I'll put this on. Can't have too much more, though. This is looking good. This is like the inverse pattern of like UNFI, right? So when I say just as good, I have to agree. This is looking great. This is like the complete flip-flop of UNFI. So got to agree, it's a good one. All right, my scanners are taking its sweet time, and we already have a lot on the list. I think that we're good, though. Let me see. We would have found AMRN on the momentum scan anyway. It's number one. Yeah, that just about does it, guys. I'm pretty much good. I think we're good, guys. We have a pretty decent list. So if there's anything else that might move with the market, should the markets move up higher heading into the close? So like I see from Jose saying MU near the highs of the day right now. So that's a great stock to keep on the side as well. I think for right now, though, guys, I don't want to clutter the list too much and put too many on. I always say this. I'm prone to do that myself. So we're going to finish up this list as is. We have what now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We got a packed house. 12 stocks to work with going into the close, guys. Ben is saying AMAT on fire. All right. Take a look at both now. Not just AMAT, but MU. AMAT pushing up nicely. And MU's moving with it. AMAT's a semiconductor stock, so it's not just MU. It's going to be AMD as well. It should be all of them, right? AMD making a new high. Intel perhaps as well. Yeah. They're all moving up, guys. So I'm not going to put them all on the list, but great calls from Jose, Ben alike. Markets bouncing here, not breaking a new high just yet. Maybe the semiconductor ETF will. SOXL. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's the whole sector, guys. Semiconductor ETFs or semiconductor ETF, I should say, SOXL making a huge pop right now. So follow this if you're following all the others. All right, guys, so for right now, packed house, 12 stocks to work with. I'll post and tweet the list out to you guys right now. And again, for all of us on social media, Facebook and YouTube alike, if you would like to learn more about what we offer here at Cyber Trading University, whether that be the online trading room here or our online classroom, we're actually going to be beginning our monthly classes next week, guys. So for all of our students here, mostly, we are going to be hosting phase 1 coming up on Monday and then Wednesday of next week, that being the 18th and 20th of May. All right, guys, so I look forward to it with all of you guys. And again, for anyone else out there on social that would like to learn more, please give a call to the phone number down below, and one of our education advisors will pick up and provide more detail. All right, guys, aside from that, again, action-packed afternoon. Let's try and close it out just as strong as we had opened it up. Take care.